tactics to
criminal,
intimidate
gunmen,
and to pressure. Yeah?
There is Ford Langley. Press the
So,
follow button as you come in.
On February 3, when we reported, we were the first media house to report that one of the companies so named as abusing the tax-exempt status of the University Hospital of the West Indies was Jack Den. We got this letter from Knight Juna Samuels. Read that letter for me, Miss Banton.
It says, Dear sirs, read defamatory statements published by Nationwide News Network about Dennis Gordon and Jack Den Limited. We act on behalf of our clients, Mr. Dennis Gordon and Jack Den Limited, in relation to statements broadcast by your station during the past month and published on your social media platforms today, February 3, 2026, in which our clients are expressly named and linked to allegations purportedly arising from the Auditor General's report of an audit of the University Hospital of the West Indies. We are profoundly concerned at Nationwide's apparent failure to exercise even the most basic journalistic due diligence before publishing our client's name.
Can you read that line again?
We are profoundly concerned at Nationwide's apparent failure to exercise even the most basic journalistic due diligence before publishing our client's name in disparaging terms as...
You hear that? The most basic journalistic intelligence. At this time, the people, them know so them did involve, you know. They know.
Inter alia, beneficiary of tax exemption breach, and that's a quote.
Yes.
The wording of your publication invites your listeners and viewers to draw damaging and wholly unjustified conclusions about our clients. Further, the decision to publish those words suggests either an inadequate investigation of the Auditor General's findings or a deliberate attempt to destroy the reputation of a private company whose record of service in the field of healthcare has been commendable. Singling out the names of Jack Den and Dennis Gordon appears to have been deliberately calculated to harm their good reputation.
Absolutely not. It was not. We're not driven, motivated by malice in pursuing or reporting. No. Yeah? Absolutely not.
Welcome.
Continue now.
It says, there has been absolutely no finding of corruption or misconduct on the part of our clients, which makes your publication of their names and identity in the manner in which you have done so both misleading and malicious. Our clients categorically deny any wrongdoing. While Dennis Gordon, principal of Jack Den, is a public figure, a member of parliament, that status does not grant your station license to use him as target practice, or does it diminish your obligation to report accurately, fairly, and responsibly? In the circumstances, we formally demand an immediate and unequivocal on-air apology, acknowledging that our clients were wrongly named by you and confirming that no culpability attaches to them in the Auditor General's report. We trust that you will treat this matter with the seriousness it warrants. Should we not receive a satisfactory response within 48 hours, our clients further action without notice.
And that was signed by?
That was yours faithfully, Knight, Juna, and Samuels.
Yeah.
And signed signature, Stacey Knight.
Stacey Knight. Yes. Well, that was the letter we got on February 3, Nora. February 3, after all reporting. And some of you also, yeah, were quick to condemn us, about the reporting. Yeah? Well, yesterday it emerged in the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, the PAC, that we were dead on accurate. Dead on accurate and no amount of intimidation. You know, they haven't learned yet, you know. They have not learned over the decades that nationwide is not to be trifled with or attempt to intimidate. Yeah? We try our very best to make sure we get it right. Yeah? There are sometimes some of you will tell us, inform us, and you realize we don't report because what? When we do our due diligence and we do our checks, it now add up. It now add up. So we're not going with it. Yes, sometimes we get it wrong, but it's not for the want of trying. So yesterday, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament confirmed the names of the 4 companies, and one of them is indeed Mr. Dennis Gordon, MP, East Central St. Andrews, Jackden Limited.
JLP for life, there's only one family in Jamaica me know named Manley. Only one family, and that is the family of the former PNP leader and Prime Minister Michael Manley, who I know fathered several children. Few of them is sons. Kai 53, press the follow button as you come in.
Yes, and the PNP Region 3 chairman, the instigator of that threatening letter to us on February 3.
Thank you, Angel.
He instructed his attorney. Yes, Stacey Knight of Knight Samuels Jr. to write us that threatening letter. What was he hoping? That we would cower and retract our story, like our friends at Linders Road did. Then catch them afraid. We're not afraid of business. Time for the break.
No jellyback reporting as Cliff. No jellyback reporting from Cliff. Lisa Bryan, press the follow button. Thank you for coming, run in. Tap up the live. As I was saying earlier, blacks, press the follow button. As I was saying earlier, guys, I was over the people them now. And we have to tell you now about hypocrisy. You know, hypocrisy is a wicked thing, you know. Right? Hypocrisy is a wicked thing, you know. So the same people them now who did say, let me go as far back as to the drill. You remember the drill argument? Where a man was holding some shares and him says the Labour Party. All of a sudden now, you know, all of a sudden, the company have nothing to do with PNP. I just want PNP man money. So it has nothing to do with the party. And that is why certain discussions I don't have. Because as I said earlier, if there's one thing I am 155% sure of, if one of these companies had any ties to any member of the Labour Party, that information would have been leaked from day one. Yesterday, both Christopher Brown and was Luther Cousins spent the entire sitting trying their best to tie what happened at the University Hospital to the Ministry of Labour and by extension to Christopher Tufton. There's every question. It went so blatant one at a time that Mr. Cousin was reading the notes of the Auditor General and was trying to say it was from the ministry. That's how blatant it got with their attempt to tie what happened there. So one company so far and a name that we can link to PNP. Sean Manley is only one family me know near Manley. I don't know the gentleman, but I know only one Manley family I know in Jamaica. I don't know another Manley family. I don't know another Manley family. And that is why I tell you now, it says Labour Party supporters, we have to be firm in our belief. that we have a Labour Party right now, a leader, party members. Pardon, Madam Speaker. We have a party leader right now and members of parliament who by no stretch of the imagination is perfect. Them not perfect, them no walk on water, them not have hole in them hand nigger. But I will stand up and defend them daily. Because I know Douglas Manley is the same Manley. Douglas was Michael brother. No, he no go for Rose. Douglas was Michael brother. Right, so that don't take him out. I want at the same Manley family. So I tell you, say I want Manley family, me know. Me never say I want Manley, me know. I said it one Manley family, I know. So Douglas is the brother. Right, so I will stand up. I speak on it every day. When we hear PNP, I try tie labor right into this. Say, oh, some of the companies are owned by labor rights. And of course, you have some labor rights where they weak to it, you know, I believe it. I know how PNP operate, you know. Me see the brother, and I want to finish play the sitting for yesterday. I want to play the last 40 minutes of it. The guy yesterday was sitting in the parliament. For you see me see PNP written all over him. Right? And I'm talking about the incompetent one who was director of procurement at UHWI. I forgot the one with the funny name. Right? And the thing with them, not the whole city I'm looking for. I want to finish, not the Senate. The committee one there. Not you. Where the hell is this? No, I soon find it. Right? But if there was a company with any serious ties to the Jamaica Labour Party or any member of the Jamaica Labour Party, that information would have been leaked long ago. All the PNP blogger them would have it run up and down with. But the fact that you never hear them, all them are doing insinuate, oh, that's not how PNP work. PNP have them plans, them have them sleeper agents everywhere, and anything to do with Labour Party. Let's go back to the drill argument. How early in that discussion did we know that there was some shares holder, was a shareholder in the company, Williams? How early? Early. They never wait until the last minute or the last day. Early in that discourse, that information was leaked. That information was leaked early. So how is it that you now say this thing break almost a year now? Sorry, I know so long. And Labour Party company involved. And we don't hear it from TVJ. We don't see it in a Gleaner. One side, bless up. We don't see it in an Observer. We don't hear none of them blagger with it. But I am waiting to see now, because as according to the CEO, UHWI is now gonna be fined by customs because they breach the Customs Act by allowing somebody else to use their tax exempt. So they're gonna be fined. So again, what is gonna happen to the companies now that actually benefited from this? What is gonna happen to Jack then and the others that benefits from it? So we're gonna be fined. Our taxpayers' money are gonna go. Remember now, we are for new, you know. We fund both the hospital and we fund that. What is gonna happen now? What going to happen now? What going to happen? Will there be no penalty will there be no penalty for Jack then? Will there be no penalty for Dennis Garden? One of them already paid 10 million to custom. Oh, which one of them stays? Which one of them? Well, one of them, all of them need to be fined, and I'm talking about fined heavily. Jack then sits on about 19 government contracts. Remember this, you know, a sitting member of parliament owns and operates a business that holds 19 government contracts. Remember the hell and powder house when a friend of Christopher Tufton was found to own a funeral home. Just a friend, you know. And that was the heights of scandal. But a sitting member of parliament, a senior member of the PNP, a region director, a man with untold influence, has a company that has 19 government contracts, 19, across all places. The man that was brave enough to construct a building without a single permit being sought. Without a single permit being sought. Yes, the new Jackden headquarters was built without, not breach of permit, you know. He did not breach permit, you know. He did not sought a single permit. And at the time, he sits on the committee that approve permits for building. Mr. Golden said he was the paragon of virtue, and nobody who sits on his team will ever, once your name is called in corruption, that is it, you have to go. Now, Judge Davis asked a question this morning. Did you lie to us, Mark Golden, or did Dennis Garden lie to you? A simple thing, you know. Either Mark Golden lied when he was at the press conference and he asked, and he said he asked, and he was told that nothing of the sort, nothing no go so. Or let the investigation take its course, and after the investigation, we will decide. Well, the investigation has taken its course. And Jack then, and Dennis Garden, has been found wanting. They have been found wanting. They have been found in breach. They have been found cheating taxpayers out of their money. $23 million out of the tax kitty. One of the company, I am not sure if it's the one that is owned by the Manley that buys the garbage cans, paid $3 million. Yes, Lisa, same so. Paid $3 million for it. Save over $3 million in taxes. And then turn around and sell the same bin to the university hospital that you use their tax status to bring it in, and you sold it to them for $11 million, $11.5 million. I don't know if it's the one that is tied to a Manley, or is it the one that buy the utensils for $1.5 million and then sell it for $6.5 million? People are not lying at them. Batrascan paid $3 million. Then sell it back after you wrongfully utilize the tax exempt status of the university hospital. Well, to be honest, I don't know, but at these prices that was announced, there can be no discount or given, so I can be sure of that. Buy it for $3 million. You save the extra $3 million in taxes, and you sold it to the place for $11.5 million. A whopping $8 million profit on your investment. Almost 300% markup. Almost 300% markup. What, boy, Bertie? And silence from the PNP when the Integrity Commission report and Andrew Holness about the statutory declaration, 24 hours after that, there was a press conference at the PNP. When the one about the land when give it to his son and the developer, 24 hours after that, there was a press conference by the PNP. There was a press conference led by Mark Golden, demanding action, demanding resignation. This thing with Dennis Garden has been in the news now for almost 6 months. Silence from the paragon of virtue. Silence from the man who believes he is entitled to Jamaica. Jamaica is his birthright. Jamaica is will to him. Silence from the man who believes that nobody in Jamaica should be earning more money than him. Silence on the man who go around every day and all he can criticize is a salary increase that he took and then lied to the Jamaican people about donating money. At the beginning of the increase, he was going to donate it to charity. Few months later, he's spending it on worthy causes. Now, a sensible somebody would ask, Mark Golden, what is a worthy cause? Because a worthy cause for me is different for Bertie. It's different for Cuban Boss. It's different for Angel. What is a worthy cause, Mark Golden? You now spend the money on worthy cause. This is the people, this is the man, people, where whole heap of Jamaican was willing to crucify one of our own for. But now that he's found wanting, now that his statutory declaration is not certified, I don't hear the same calls. Now that his statutory declaration is not certified, I don't hear the same calls. I don't hear the virtuous. You're so right. David Campbell, press the follow button. Guys, as you come in, press the follow button, tap up the screen. Guys, I need to get to 100,000 tap in the shortest order. And if you don't, yesterday I get one wheel and one galaxy. I still don't get the lion yet. One by one. Still don't get the lion. Still wait for the lion. I don't get it yet. But we on social media here, myself and my fellow bloggers, it is our job to hold them accountable. I need to, as I say, I think it's important to find the other half of that. Sitting. PAC sitting. Here it is.
What I go on, Chuck?
Bless up yourself, Tulax.
Bless. May I say, Mark Golding and in conglomerates them soon go somewhere Westmoreland and bungle up couple people, man, and brainwash them and do a video saying that him is your this or that to them. And where the Corona money, where the Melissa money go, what they get. Understand?
Yeah, me figure that will come, man. That will come, man. I better yet. Then we get a few people to admit to them get it, you know.
Yeah, man. Them soon orchestrate that, man.
Yeah, man. Then soon get somebody. Forget it.
Yeah.
Right.
Then go get a couple people for just say, here I go.
Alfonso Tozen.
I give no 100 grand each and come out and big and brawling and say, boy, we no get this and get that. You see me? And you know, we make it happen.
That will come too, Lax. I am looking for that little move too. I look for that move by them too.
If he man them crying, you know, Chuck. Yo, brother, me no know how so. Me not have the capacity to sit down and listen to some of them talk. And I defend a man over their own. It's like you have your own pitney in your yard. And somebody can tell you, say, boy, the man they out there so pitney better than for your pitney.
Who did that? Anyway, let me play this.
I want to kind of delve a little bit deeper in that.
2 lakhs, send me back a request.
Companies that
But let me play this.
a document that was signed by someone who apparently had left the company that was no longer the CEO. Can you name the company or the companies for those particular documents?
There's also, I think, private company 3, cups and dishes, imported for 1.4 million, and then the UHWI buy it back again for 6.9. So the country has heard about, and there's been glorification and publication around one entity. When there are 4 companies, when it's possible, it has been institutionalized, and the utilization of tax exemption is a convention and practice between the EU and its partners. But this buyback, what it is about and who is benefiting, because it's 1.4 and then buy it back at 6.9. So this company, private company 4, has made 3 or 4 times profit. Private company 3 has made 10-fold profit. So I just want some clarity on that, CEO, because it looks really bad, but perhaps there is some explanation to it that some of us can't really.
You see, this is what I talk about with this guy here who spend the entire life trying to defend Jack Den, to take the spotlight off Jack Den, to say, hey, Jack Den is not the only one. There's others we should be talking about. Yeah. And yours is so blatant in his thing that I'm going to tell you, say, a man will buy something for 1.5, 1.4 mil and sell it back to 6.9 mil. Benefited 10 times the amount. 10 folds him, say 10. A man will buy it for 3.5 million and say it for 11 million. That is only 3 or 4. But the man will do is 10 folds. Because the only thing they attempt to do was to take the pressure off Dennis Gardner and Jack Den, and the fact that Mark Golding is culpable in this because he's refused to take action. Refuse. And now we hear so a man being involved.
That some of us can't really understand.
Now we hear that there's a man
based on what you have shared,
it.
remember, it would based on what you have said and what the Auditor
Now we
General
hear
has
that,
stated,
now we hear
it
that
is
there's a mandate involved.
extremely bad. However, I cannot tell you why it was done.
Now we hear
Is there
there's a
anybody else
mandate
here who could tell us
I
why?
can tell you none of the senior leadership here or even in the hospital have been able to share or to say why it was just done.
Why are we buying back? Who is making money? What is this? And
Jack, they make money. Sean Man, they make money.
We're not here for the entire member. Now, I'm asking all my pertinent questions, Member Cuthbert. No,
it's not critical. Member Cuthbert, we do have Parliament sitting at 2.
That's
and
right.
These issues have to be fully ventilated. And I'll give everybody an opportunity to talk. Everybody.
Yeah, so there's nobody who can help us with this buyback to understand the rationale behind the buyback and who are the beneficiaries.
The persons may purchase items and then sell the hospital and have their markup. And therefore, I don't know.
Who authorized these buybacks, though? You have no knowledge of who is within the university hospital who would have been authorizing these buybacks.
The matter, as I said, Chair, I have to be very careful because, as I said, this is before the police and also before customs and integrity commission. And Mr. Chair, I don't want to say reasons. I would prefer them with their investigative skills to do the assessment and make the determination through the due process, whether it be court or otherwise.
Well, first I want to welcome, there are 49 students from Dunrobin Primary. Welcome to the Parliament of Jamaica. This is the Public Accounts Committee meeting. We are not going to have a sitting of the full Parliament, but you're welcome to...
Original bad chef.
Where you going, Chuck?
I'm there, sir. Where you going?
I just say I listen to a thing with Cliff Hughes a while ago talk about the incident there. I wonder how Jamaica silent, sir.
Because a PNP am not golden.
I realize there's two set of rules and order for the opposition and the Prime Minister. I wonder if it's because one is white and one is a black man, because basically what I say, the PNP get away with every and anything them do. Every single thing them do, it just become a 1 minute talk and then just sleep under the carpet and just forget about it. And anything will come from the JLP side, them string it along for years and weeks and months and days.
Well, Bad Chef, let me quote you the words of a former PNP member of Parliament who stood on a political platform and said, we encourage business community farm groups and we call these people civic groups, but I make sure that they are filled with PNP people because we have an agenda. Because we have an agenda. That's what them saying, we have an agenda. And that agenda is coming into play right now. It's coming into play every time. Jamaican for Justice, National Integrity, all of them paper group, them, where every time something pertaining or linked to the Labour Party, they can find some printer ink for send letter to newspaper. But every time the PNP do something, every time the name called silence and their parts.
My God, man.
Silence.
This need to change. We have to take action because this need to change. It can't continue like this. If this was the JLP or any member of the JLP, it would have depend every live post and every blogger out and all the news medias would be out and all of these things. Seeking for the Prime Minister.
But Chef, as can 2-1 PNP blogger. The company has nothing to do with the PNP. It's only a PNP man only.
Nonsense.
It mean no nonsense.
David. Nonsense. That is total nonsense.
The fact is, as Tasha, we need civic groups that stand for something, not political operatives disguising themselves as civic group. And in the last 2 years, in the last 2 to 3 years, these groups have shown that they don't care anything about Jamaica or the Jamaican people. They are simple PNP apologists. They are simple PNP supporters. They are simple PNP members disguising themselves as groups. So when we hear these people come out, we need to shun them as the devil that they are.
This don't look good at all. I tell you, it don't look good. It don't look good, it don't smell good, and it don't feel good because I am saying. And even the hurricane relief program where Mark Golden set up. It's how many months now since hurricane blow? How many months now since them set up them platform and collect people them money? And not $1 you don't hear where $1 go.
As stand to them
about it.
As stand to them, bad chef. We'll have to wait until their annual financial statement come out for we to hear how they spend that money. Now, I never knew such charity money going in your financial statement.
It's a charity money. Yes, Jamaica people supposed to benefit from it, and there's not one Jamaican who can come forward and say, all right, I got $50, I got $10 from this program. Them collect the money and then give me $10 out of it, they give me $50 out of it. This is garbage, man.
Not to mention that several other PNP MP were collecting other monies on social media on the behalf of people, were them constituents. And none of these MP has issued out one care package that did not come from the government of Jamaica. And if you don't believe me, let me remind you of this small incident. While every member of the PNP in the parliament was complaining about who need help and who don't get help, Andrew went to the parliament one day and said, I am going to release the list of all the members of parliament and how many packages they receive. And from that day,
everybody silent. Nobody no come back again, so they not get nothing from that.
Thank you.
The package and the amount of money when give them.
Yes.
From that day, nobody no come back, so they not get nothing again. Everybody they start receive from that day.
Thank you. From the day Andrew said, I'm going to release the list of everybody that receive assistance, every member of parliament and everything them get. From that day, it has been silence. From that day, Westmoreland people are the most taken care of people in the island.
Mighty God, master, you know, look good, man.
A threat to expose them. Now, I know what Cliffy said that TVJ may have received a letter. But I don't think TVJ received no damn letter. I think Mark Moore make a phone call to his friend and said, Brethren, how you run that story about my people? And they apologize based on that. Because TVJ would have received the very same information that Nationwide did.
All the news media, all of them received the same information.
Yes.
But them cover it up.
Same information is the same thing. They did not copy Nationwide and post. Them receive the same information. So if Nationwide could stand by their information and say no, TVJ could have done the same.
You realize when the Auditor General made a mistake a couple years ago and said $3 trillion, how much $1 trillion go missing from unaccounted for. Every news media in the country and even overseas reach have bring say, oh, Jamaican money missing up, how much $1 trillion missing up. And they drag it and drag the Prime Minister and drag the JLP administration for years and months with it. And now something as big as this come out. Mark Golden came on a press conference and said the chips will fall where they have to when if it is proven that Jacqueline is a part of it. And everybody just silent. This no man, this is completely why I mean no. This not normal.
As I said before, you know, my friend, and every time when something may come up, I have to say a big thank you to the bloggers at the Jamaica Labour Party who has been holding the line Because if it wasn't for people like us, the Jamaica Labour Party would have been destroyed. The PNP would have won the general election from as far back as 2020 and would have set out to the further destruction of Jamaica.
But you can imagine it is these men, them people are in opposition. And you have so much scandal and so much corruption and in the opposition where you're at, you're not the government, and you have so much pilfering and so much thieving in so much department in the country.
Unprecedented, bad chef. Unprecedented that a party.
If they had won the election last year, if Jamaica people really put them in last year, September, what would happen?
We wouldn't hear a thing about this.
No, sir.
People under the counter. But I believe somebody's assessment. Oh, sorry, Peter, give me a second. I'll come to you. Somebody's assessment yesterday is that all of this came out. All of this, they were hoping it would have came out during the election and fall on Tufton's shoulder. There was a slight miscalculation when them unanimously called in the Auditor General. The Auditor General probably take too long with the report and they missed the election date. Right? But we, the year so, we have nationwide that I consider to be a very fair station at times, except when they cost my party leader. Me hypocrite them way there. And we have to continue to toe the line. We have to continue to hold the line. We have to continue to point them out, not just the PNP, but them surrogates who are disguised themselves as social media, as civil
bad man.
Right?
I realize how TV they kind the news. Realize how they kind the news. Them even though it come out and say Jack then and the other three parties are beneficiaries to this thing. Realize when I watch the news and realize how them kind the news. If it was a JLP business member or a member of parliament from the JLP side, them would have bring it across another way. It's like them bring it, them spin it for try cover it up as best as possible.
Right, Chef, let us go. You remember the drill incident of a couple months ago?
Exactly, even that. And how then drag Mr. Tufton. How then drag
That's all Mr. Tufton, Mr. Williams, when they say him wants some shares in the company where own it, when the man didn't even own the shares, you know. He was just holding them for somebody. And then his name was out there covering. Yes, that's how them deal with the Labour Party in a media in Jamaica.
It's like there's one law one law governs the Prime Minister and JLP, and one law governs the opposition. A total different set of law govern the opposition. So they can do as they like, as they free, and get away with it.
And we said this to you, bad chef, and then we go hear from Petal. And we said this to you. During a conversation with a very famous PNP blogger, discussing the assets of both Mark Golden and Andrew Holness. The blogger told me, and this is a black man who is a teacher who sits in classroom, so we're not supposed to question Mark Golden's wealth because Mark Golden is white.
So it's okay if you white.
Yeah, that bad. Mark Golden is white, so we're not supposed to question his wealth. Mark Golden is white, so we're not to question his wealth. So that is where the thinking coming from. Petal, good evening.
Oh, Corgon, Chuck, me say, like me, George not tech program. And that me have to love about George Davis, yeah? You imagine, say, if we never have people like George because sit down and go doing journalism work, or would have been left in the dark? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
A man I go come right here, come and say, them a come right here, I come send letter to you, boy, you have to retract statement, retract what? Retract where?
And then the part of the letter which touched me, Petal, was the man they say, this is a guilty man I write the letter.
Mm-hmm.
And the man said, even the slightest bit of editorial integrity would have proved this is a man who knows same company involved in the politics.
Jesus.
VG.
You know, yesterday, see, me did very busy in and out of the road. I me say me kind of just hear live here and there, cause I cannot hear you Richards over here live. All of a sudden you Richards want justice for all the politicians who this and that. And I'm like, me just want to know if I didn't want labor right did own that company, they wouldn't have gone out of social or CEO or whatever shareholder. Would I really have gone out a road this morning, yeah? You know, but just and then me see some laborers get weary. It's the laborers get weary yesterday, you know, because
whoever this lady will live in a foreign will send money to Cash and what the other one name?
who call?
No man, the other one, the funny one who live in the park downtown.
Durval. Dexton.
No, Durval.
Yeah, no. Me want Dexton come up. Me want Dexton come up because me I tell you say Chuck when me I talk, I me I say me not take no talk from no PNP. No PNP can convince me say no labor right mix up in this a scandal and no day no time. They must say, oh, this, that. Come up Dexton. Yeah man, finish talk, Chuck.
If there was, and I said this before and I'll say it again, if there was a Labour Party link company, no matter how slight the link is, it's like how one of the owner named Manley, if one of the owner did name Wholeness, you would have heard that from 6 months back. That would have been leaked to the media long ago. So because they didn't have any link, them only serve speculation. Them only serve up speculation long ago that it could be no. If they had one shred of evidence, that would have come out long time. That is how PNP work. As I said yesterday, the two gentlemen, Christopher Brown and Luton Cousin, spend the entire sitting at the Public Accounts Committee trying to find a link or find a way to link what happened at the UHWI directly to the ministry and the Minister of Health.
Exactly.
That's what they did.
When you say and I try give them surrogates them red meat, I go on, hey, on the hero, Chrissa ask them, on the hero, Chrissa and Lottie and I dig them, and I because them have company night, you know, I because this and them the foolishness and then what I wrote attack say.
And as a Labourite, I had to commend, and I will commend yesterday, Julian Robinson presided over a very good hearing. Yes, Julian Robinson did an excellent job. He was fair, he was balanced, and he gave everybody an opportunity to ask questions. He asked some very good questions of his own, and that is how your guys are sitting to get information, not to blame, but to get information. And when you get the information, it will tell you where the blame for lie. And that's what came out of the Public Accounts Committee sitting yesterday. Right? Next time.
Blessings, Chuck. Blessings.
Blessings, sir. Been a while.
Hold on there. Are you asleep? You don't talk to me in a Dexon?
If I were talking to you in my sleep, about what now?
When me say labor rights not get weary and
so like you promise something next time.
And what you tell me say? What you tell me past Quitty Life say?
Get weary about what?
When me say labor rights not forget weary and not until the Jamaica Labour, not until they identify a sitting MP or a member of the Jamaica Labour Party mix up in that me not take no talk from the PNP say labor right involved. What you said to me?
I said that there are companies that are aligned to both political parties that are involved in this fiasco. What was highlighted yesterday at the PAC was the 4 main companies. There are more than those companies involved. This thing has been going on for a long time. What is the argument? I saw somebody hold on there, Chuck. I saw somebody type that I said a member of parliament from the JLP side is involved. I said no such thing. I said that there are companies, this thing has been going on. I preface my argument with the note that this thing has been going on for a very long time, and companies aligned to both political parties have been for years.
Dexter, I will say this to you.
Taking advantage of this kind of arrangement.
Dexter, I will say this to you, sir. Anytime I see anytime I see the name, because Dexter, if there was a company there, Dexter, and I know this, Dexter, because I know how PNP operate, if there was a company with the slightest link to the Labour Party, even a cousin, a distant 13 cousin, to anybody in the Labour Party was sitting or owned any one of these companies, that company would have been the first one out the gate.
Yesterday, Alvaro pull up in computer, and because one of the company name Will something another. Him say Donovan name own name Williams.
Yes. That is how them do it. Right? So Dexter, until I see that evidence, until them produce it, for me today, I have a company that is owned by a PNP representative, a member of parliament, a region chairman, and I have one that is named Manley. The owner of it named Manley. And to me, is only one Manley family me know in Jamaica. So the 2 out of the 4 company that is named so far has for me PNP lineage. 2 of them out of the 4. I have not seen one with a single link to the Labour Party. No. As you said, there are probably more. But until I see that evidence, I will not utter those words out my mouth.
I don't think that this is something that the Labour Party should be, and I'm happy that the JLP organization has not taken it on as an issue, and that's what I admire about this new JLP, is that there's a certain maturity that doesn't allow for stuff like this. I think what we should be celebrating is how Minister Tufton has dealt with this whole fiasco. He has been very mature about it and very deliberate about it, and which I find very commendable. When you have a third world country in Jamaica that has been that corruption has been so ingrained in our DNA, and we see the minister has taken strategic and deliberate approach in how it has investigated this thing, and setting up a committee, putting in a new CEO there, albeit temporary for now, that has gone there and has done the proper investigation and due diligence, to ferret out this kind of stuff. That is what we should be celebrating. We have a kind of government now that has been A-class and has been cutting above any other administration we have seen in this country. Quite commendable. I don't want to go into I don't want to celebrate the fact that some company aligned to the PNP is fingered in this whole fiasco, because that won't move the needle, in my opinion. Because I'm certain, and I'm going to maintain that companies over the years aligned to both political parties have been taking advantage of this kind of arrangement, not just at the university hospital, but elsewhere. So, what I commend is my minister in the person of Christopher Tufton and how he has dealt with this. This is beyond first world standard, and that's where my celebration is at.
Well, Dexter, I am not celebrating, because we cannot celebrate corruption. I am not celebrating. What I am calling on is that action be taken, is that the same anger that would have come out of Michaela Jackson or Carol Narcis or what do you want to jump name? Janet Calder. The same venom what they would have come out with if this was linked to the PNP. That is where me are called for. That am a problem next time. That am a problem. I need fair and honesty in the discussion. Is the only way we can change politics in Jamaica.
But I can tell you this,
civic groups civic groups who are supposed to be holding the line has given up that possession to people like me.
But I can tell you this, my friend, if you're gonna wait on Jeanette Calder, Miss Jackson, or even what's her name there, Carol Narcisse, you're gonna I will advise you not to even hold your breath, because if you hold your breath, you're gonna die. Those people are not objective in their discourse about anything political in this country. As a matter of fact, I think they're agenda agents, if they're anything else, you know. They are people who have hijacked the civil society groups. I mean, JFJ, which was formed, you know, out of pure motives and good intent.
Pure motive.
Yeah.
Pure motive.
That has been.
I remember when it was launched, Dexter. I remember what's her name again? Caroline Gomes.
Caroline Gomes and others, yeah.
And what's the other lady name? Goff.
Yeah, Susan Goff, yeah.
Yes. I remember it was formed to fight for the rights of Jamaican that couldn't afford it. And they have since become a political tool, because the PNP, if they're not good at anything else, they are like, the PNP is like a cancer. When them infest any organization, them infest and then yam out the brain and them yam it down to the ground. And they have infested, let me use the word that O'Keefe used last night. When he accused the government of infesting crime, I don't understand it. But I can tell you that they've infested these organizations like termite, and them eat out the brain until them have no useless. Jamaican for Justice is nothing now. The Jump, nothing. All these groups were formed with good intention. But once the PNP, and listen, let me tell you, I know these groups alone, you know. Every single community group that is formed anywhere in Jamaica, PNP has sought to infiltrate and infest it. Even you have taximan who form WhatsApp groups so they can communicate. PNP in a them group there. Community groups to deal with community safety and community issues. PNP in a them group there. That is how Kimi Live is feeding back. I don't understand what that means, Kingston 11. I don't understand what that means. Right? That is how PNP operate. Right? So these groups now what we have, what we would expect to be holding the line, are now useless. It's up to us. And that's why we have to make our pronouncement evidence-based. And that is why up there it says right there, fueled by facts and not opinion. I'm hearing both. That because you're on both platform. Right? Fueled and not opinion. We have to call them out. Right? And until me see the evidence come out, when the investigation is broad, because I do believe the contractor general have to go, the auditor general and the integrity commission will have to go in, and Mocha will have to go in and investigate this thing thoroughly. And at the end of this, people need to go to prison. Companies needs to be disbanded. And the taxpayers' money must be recovered. That is what must happen at the end of all this. Taxpayers' money must be recovered. People need to go to prison. Yes, the FID. That is it. Right? And that is the outcome in all this what I look for. That must happen. People need to call out Mark Golden for his hypocrisy. Mark Golden said, any member of my team that names even calls in corruption will have to step aside. That is what he said. And again, I will say this. 24 hours after they sent one report to the parliament about Andrew Warner's statutory declaration, there was a PNP press conference to call for Andrew's resignation. 24 hours after they sent one next report about Andrew Pickney one officer land where they never get one permit for, there was a press conference to call for Andrew's resignation. 24 hours after Melissa come, there was a press conference to call for Andrew's resignation. And now 24 hours after the, not even 24 hours, 6 months after the revelation, Mark Golding is quiet. The civil society groups are quiet. TVJ has quiet. Gleaner, quiet. Observer, quiet. Were they quiet when the argument was that Donovan Williams didn't own the company or buy the drill? No. I never quiet then. But then quiet now. And Kingston 11, you remind me of something that I needed to speak about, you know. Yesterday, I got a recording. I got play it for you, I hear, and then I want you to listen to this recording here.
You have a girl, I call her name Tammy or Timmy. One blogger. She's so labor right that she tell me to suck my man. I want the world knows it. Me a bad man, and anyone me catch her in New York, I bat her in her face. Or gun butter.
You go catch trouble.
Me not care.
Now, this brother, so like he named Kayat or somebody. And yeah, threatened, and somebody will record it and send it go give him. And yeah, threatened for box Kimmy when you see her in New York. Yeah, that's the same one. Brother, hear this to me, okay? You say you're a bad man and you go gun butter.
Excuse me. Chuck. I'm sorry, don't mean to butt in. Whatever you're saying, don't do the same thing.
I'm not going to do the same thing.
Okay.
Just allow me to address a little brother. Me a bad man too. And me sure me there in New York more than Kimmy. So if you think you're a bad man, anytime me come to New York, me and send a message. Me take the message and carry back. Me take the message and carry back because uno believe say internet badness is not no bad behind no keyboard or behind no phone screen. When me come to New York, meet me in New York and send any message you want to send to Kimmy. You think you can't bad up any of my people and boy, I could on bad people.
So our Kimmy Chuck?
Yes.
So why never say when you go to Jamaica?
Because them can't come back to Jamaica. People them run left Jamaica, them probably wanted, or if them not wanted, them not have no papers, then can't them right now them have to run and hide for ICE. ICE them have to run from. So me tell you, brother, anytime me come to New York, you don't have to wait for Kimmy. You can send a message to me. I'll be happy to deliver it for you. Back to Mark Golding now. Sorry. I saw it from this morning and I wanted to address it, but I didn't remember it. But back to Mark Golding. Now, man, me not make nobody sit down on the internet and go like they want bad up Kimmy, man. They give me trouble now, no? Give me a walk around that trouble, no? Eh? When phone people I tell people all sort of them movement, nobody are trying to do them nothing. Let me go back to Mark Golding. But as I said, people, these so-called civic group, we have to start call them out and shame them. And every chance we get, we shame them into action. But I want to hear a little more of the sitting, so let me go back to it.
Continue to watch and observe in silence the proceedings of this committee. This committee is set up to deal with reports from our Auditor General, and our Auditor General is seated to my left, Mrs. Pamela Monroe Ellis, and we are examining an audit report done on the University Hospital of the West Indies. All right? Okay. So yeah, there's a queue, you know, Frank, and you have some of your colleagues impatiently waiting, like Mrs.
Sorry, guys, I rolled it back a little because we have to catch up on who's part we did there for last night.
Cuthbert Finn.
And guys, as you come in, just tap up the screen. If you don't follow me yet, follow me right now. And you know, I still wait for the lion, and they will just the lion for today. Tomorrow move to the other one.
Well, if somebody will release their mic to put you on, Frank.
You want to ask a question?
Patriot.
You want to follow?
Just a follow. In relation to the cost, the buyback, can the Auditor General help us in terms of what you think of if you had done any check in relation to market value for those buyback, the market value for the items that were.
Somebody have to release the mic so I can turn on the AG's mic.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. No, we did not do a check of market value. We spoke specifically to the CIF value, and the focus was really on the practice.
You have to use, why you turn off the mic? I think the concern members have is that having used the university hospitals tax exempt status improperly, the same company who benefited from that tax exemption turns around and sells back to the university at 3 or 4 times, 10 times? 10 times the CIF value. So it is clear to us that this was a deliberate scheme to provide profit, undue profit for a particular entity. There's no other way to explain it than that. Where in this scenario, the university could have just directly bought the stuff for itself and brought it in.
But Chair, who approved it? That's the question.
So, yeah, so the CEO, again, we know you are new and acting, but would this use of the tax exempt status be something approved by the CEO at the time, the board? Where in the chain of authority would this have been done?
The authentication of the approval is something that is under investigation. The files have been sequestered, and therefore, Mr. Chair, in terms of ensuring that the accurate information is provided to you,
somebody share the live with
to see the result of that investigation to make a statement as to who really approved, because that is being questioned.
It is being questioned who actually approved it.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not so sure that there is a question as to who approved. I have seen documentation to show the signature of one who would have that authority to approve.
And that was the case in all 4?
Yes.
Okay.
No. In one case, I think at least one case, the person who signed the document had no such jurisdiction. In fact, he would have been separated from the university, I believe, some 2 years before that document was signed.
What? So,
did you all hear that? The man whose signature was on the thing was separated from the university 2 years before the document was signed. I wonder who could that man be? Guess we will never know.
Are you suggesting then that that could have been forgery of that person's signature?
I would say, Mr. Chairman, that the signature appears to be that of the person who had left, who had the previous CEO, on one of the 2 documents. So there are 2 documents that would have been signed by the head of the entity. And one bear the signature of the former head, and one bear the signature, or appears to bear the signature of the current head. the authentication of those signatures is something that the police would have to do and determine whether, in fact, yes, this is the signature of the person. I'm not capable. I've never gotten any training in that area.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to kind of delve a little bit deeper in that. Can you name the company or companies that, when you mentioned about this particular document that was signed by someone who apparently had left the company, that was no longer the CEO, can you name the company or the companies for those particular documents?
I know I have the document for one of those companies.
And which company is that?
The name of the company and that item is the same one related to the dialysis machines.
And which company is that?
That's Jack Den.
That's Jack Den. Is there a similarity? I want to find out.
There are
there are two instances where the signature appears and the person who supposedly had signed that.
One of the two signatures.
One of the two signatures, the person was no longer.
Yes. Appears to be the person who no longer works there.
So it was possibly forged. We don't know.
I don't know. That is why I've said that alleged. And it's, I don't know. I can't. The police will have to determine that. Yes.
Are the four companies, do they have anything to do with the University of the West Indies Hospital? We know that Jack Den provides janitorial services to the University of the West Indies. Are the other companies that were named in this, the other three companies, do they have any direct employment contract with the University of the West Indies?
Only one, Supreme Laundry.
And
we have done business with Scientific Medical because we buy things from them, and Wilman Sales also.
And let me ask the question. We went to, this is, important to me because I do understand that a number of Jamaicans die each year because they cannot get on a public dialysis. I've paid for a number of my constituents to go privately from West Road St. Andrew to receive dialysis treatment because diabetes is a major non-communicable disease in the country. So when I hear that a company is possibly getting a buyback and making money from these dialysis machines, are they, since they were bought back?
No, sorry. I can correct you. Those
no buyback.
No.
So wait. You guys jump on this one, Farsi. Well, I'm trying to find out. So those dialysis machines are where? Are they with the university or are they at the company, Jack Den?
As I shared by the customs said that the company stated that they were purchased by them and they are in their possession. We don't have them at the hospital. You don't have them on? No, absolutely. They never came to the hospital based on our record.
We heard of furniture. Does that have anything to do with the university and that purchase?
No, the furniture. It was dialysis machine and furniture.
So it was dialysis machine and furniture.
Those furniture did not come to the hospital. And based on the customs
declaration.
Based on the customs finding.
That was also not, you were not in possession of that either?
No. And they have given us the invoice with a list of items also here.
Okay.
Just for clarity, the furniture, based on your report from customs, did they benefit from a tax-exempt status?
Yes, it's the dialysis. I just said dialysis because that's maybe the largest of the set, but they are signs, cash cart, wheelchair, scale.
Why is it like accusing me of turning my camera
just
off?
various items are on the list, several items. And that is where the CIF value, the total of that invoice.
What benefit, if any, did the UHWI benefit from these dialysis machine? Is there an arrangement?
None that I'm aware of. And I've not seen or heard, and no member of the team have stated anything like that happening. Nothing on record to show any benefit whatsoever.
So patients don't get any kind of benefits when they go to this place, reduced cost for dialysis?
I'm not aware of that. I don't know of that. I've never asked any patient to go there from the hospital. I don't know of the hospital sending any patient there.
What is procurement role in this buyback arrangement, buying back? What role does the procurement unit department play in the buyback arrangement between UHWI and these entities?
Very same trouble.
The procurement, Mr. Buckridge, can you just answer that? What role does the hospital play, the procurement department play in the importation of the garbage bins and the crockery?
And the buyback arrangement. What?
Yeah, those are the two instances.
Sorry,
somebody has
to release the mic so I can.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
The buyback arrangement is strange.
I would say I don't want to use the word buyback. It is that we paid for the items after they were imported using our tax exempt status.
I know, but it's the same thing we're saying.
I know, but I wouldn't want to use the. I'm not sure.
You don't want to use the terms.
Harry.
Yes.
All right. Your answer the question. Can I have a follow-up? So answer the question first.
I know, for one instance, the procurement unit had received a purchase requisition along with a justification letter from the head of entity to procure the bins, was to procure the bins. So we got all documentation that we are to use the direct contracting or single source procurement methodology, justification and everything to procure this item.
What was the justification in this case? Is it a specialized bin?
Looking at it, I would not say it's a specialized bin.
Okay. So that's why we asked the justification, because the question I was going to ask, in all of these are direct, the two, what we call buyback or direct contracting methods. And I wanted to find out what was the justification for the direct contracting. And secondly, is it the practice? Has the university in the past bought these things for themselves directly, or is it always a situation where they are procured through a third party?
From my experience, we have always procured them through a third party.
And from your experience, has there been a case where we know of before, for this particular case, where the tax exempt status has been used in the past to facilitate this type of procurement?
Well, I can't speak to the tax exemption aspect of it because the procurement unit does not sign declaration or even C84. We're not in that process.
In doing the procurement, would you have an internal estimate based on your market survey as to what these things should cost?
Yes, we'll get an internal estimate from the persons who are sending the request to us.
You would get an
we'll get an estimated cost, because if you're sending a purchase requisition to buy a particular item, you normally will send an estimated cost based on your market research and so forth.
From the unit within the hospital?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And in this case, the AG has indicated that one of these ended up being 10 times the CIF value. So my question would be, what would the internal estimate have said for the value of these bins? I assume these are bins that you put like needles and those things in, not garbage bins, right? Medical waste.
Medical waste. Yes.
Okay, so medical waste is something that is procured regularly, right? So the question is, would you have an internal estimate as to what that should cost? And how would that match against paying 10 times the CIF value for it?
Well, we in procurement, we wouldn't be aware of what the CIF value is. What we do, if we receive an internal estimate from the custodian.
You don't question it? You don't check?
No. Let me tell you how the internal estimate plays a role in the procurement process.
Travi, Julian is not trying to judge. I think Julian is doing the right thing, Travi. Me actually depend on Julian's side another one. Julian is probing because Julian said this is foolishness and I agree with him. So Julian is on the right track in this one. I believe Julian can cross the floor now.
Internal estimate, and I can go far back to the budget because once the budget is
Travi, this is a follow-up from last night. Was Travi here last night? We've been playing this up last night, Travi, and you have to listen. He did, but Travi, that is exactly what Julian is doing. And so I agree with Chuck. You have to be listening from last night to hear. He's really probing into it. Believe me.
Prepared. You wouldn't know because you would have done your market research. You would have known what it is that if you want to procure a bottle, you would have an idea of what the bottle.
Yeah, but you want to be finance minister under the Labour Party, not under the PNP.
Would cost to put in your budget. So that is where the internal estimate would come from. So once the request is received, the department will get an internal estimate. And once we go out and do the procurement, that whatever comes back, we will match it against what the internal estimate is to see if it is in line with the internal estimate. And if it is too high or too low, then we will ask the department to revisit their internal estimate if it is too high, or we will ensure that what the bidders are bidding, that they are bidding on apples for apples and not apples versus pear. So we'll do that type of comparison.
You know, there's a great coincidence.
What kind of... What that? How is it that, hello Squid, why the beautiful lady is back? Hey, you know, so now turn on my baby mother. Squid, she was here yesterday and she came back today just to see me.
Stay focused. Every time this lady come on here, you get distracted.
Yeah, she looks so beautiful, you know.
She is very pretty, but she don't like dark-skinned men.
Really?
Yes.
I need to talk to her about that.
Get back to your focus.
I am focused.
She's my friend and she don't like you. She already told me.
Are you friend? Then you can put in a word for me now?
No.
You can't put in a word for me?
No.
I said, why? I think I was your friend too.
Right.
What kind of foolishness this man come with now? So you are the senior procurement officer. Say, for example, the canteen sent to you, say, I want some plate. I need 100 new plate and 100 new spoon and 100 new fork and 100 new knife. Now, based on what I know, the canteen is not going to send you any price. They are going to send you because of your job to go out and find the cheapest one. Right? This I don't mean because I used to be in the production department Agrina. I know the production office. I know how these things work. Right? I know say when you want to a part, you send the purchasing to stores because I used to be the person, used to go to hardware when we want something in an emergency. Me have to got 3 different hardware. Go get pricing fee. That was before technology gets so big, So we used to have to go pick them up. And then we come back, cheapest one, we buy it. So you cannot be the head of procurement and you don't know, say, I know that the 100 plater costs too much. I'm not supposed to buy that 100 plater for so much. Thank you. And that is the other question where the match I ask. If you have the tax exempt status, why do you need a middleman? This thing was designed as a eater food business, and that's what they all did at taxpayers' expense. They were all eating a food.
A great coincidence that the internal estimate on at least 2 occasions is exactly what the bidder bid. Just seemed to be a great coincidence. Which is why direct contracting is so susceptible to corruption.
You hear that? The amount where them are selling for just happen to be what them say. So that means that whoever is in the department that is procuring these things, that is the link to whoever sell it. Anybody who sit down in the department, we need to find who send that letter to the procurement. And them are the link, and them tell the man who much them are selling for. And you see how corruption come.
Chuck, before Julian said, I just said it just now that this procurement person is a part of the scheme that's going on. I said it in the comment. He's a part of it.
And straight, where the internal estimate come from? The person who providing the service? Where it come from?
Mr. Chair.
You going to tell me in at least 2 occasions the provider's bid is the exact number of the internal estimate?
Guys, let us go back to the drill now. Jesus, they tell you, you remember when the government released the drill and they said the 3 bids that they got, not one of them was the exact figure. None of them, but they went with the closest one to what they want, which is how these things work. It is very real. Well, I have never known of a single case where the bid and sorry, the word that slipped me, and the actual money we want
the estimate.
And the estimate is the same thing. And just to happen that in 2 cases now is 100% accurate.
Can I just can I
dollars and cents? Not even round up, not even round down.
If you come tell us how it works, Orisa. Because me just have an outside understanding, so you can come.
Yeah,
dollars and cents, exactly, Frank.
Mr. Chairman, the internal estimate can also be determined by the department requesting it, where you have a sole importer, the sole dealer for a particular drug or something into the island, and they are the only one authorized to sell that item in the country.
In this case, these people are
I'm not saying in this case, I'm just saying that it is possible for you to have the same exact thing, and it is a sole source because they are the only one authorized to provide that particular drug.
The crockery.
No, I'm not saying in the case of crockery. No, not at all. Not at all. There wouldn't be
Just a follow-up.
Exclusive dealership, wouldn't be.
Just a follow-up. Just curious.
So them can buy some crockery down at Azan. Like what me do.
Why is it the UHWI wouldn't do direct purchasing of something like bins and crockery and cups and dishes? Is there a rationale behind not procuring it directly? Right. Is there a rationale? Just curious.
We don't know why those decisions were taken. We only see that they were, but we don't know why they took them.
But procurement should know.
They're aware?
But wouldn't
Yes, we are in possession of the crockery.
but wouldn't a reason be given to procurement? Why is it that they are purchasing them from a third party instead of direct sourcing from UHWI? What is there has to be a rationale.
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I mean, items can be purchased because that is not where we focus our specialization in terms of certain goods and services that are provided. So we will purchase them. As to specific ones where you say, you want this particular item and where it is overseas, and you could, as to why they chose to have someone else import and then we buy it from them, I don't know. I am not aware. And none of the senior members of staff are able to explain that to you.
It boggles my mind because if you get an internal estimate and it is provided to procurement, then from a procurement committee standpoint, I have certain procurement committees, and from a procurement committee standpoint, I'm going to question why not purchase this directly instead of giving somebody an exempt status and then buying it back. I think that is just waste of money, breakdown of procedures, lack of accountability. Somebody's benefiting, and we know who. We need to know who benefited from this breakdown. It is obvious. Mr. Chair, we need to know. The country needs to know. Somebody has benefited.
Yeah, I'm hoping that from the police investigation and that of the Integrity Commission and that of Customs, the country will be made aware of where the breakdown, where, if any, took place.
Thank you. And somebody must be held accountable.
That is where Catherine Pitt, appointed by the board, will be looking at.
All right, somebody, you want to just use currency as mic? Yeah.
Just a quick follow-up. I just wanted to have an idea as to how the tax exemption is utilized. How is it normally used within the entity? How does it work?
The hospital is allowed to import items
on its own.
On its duty-free, on its own. That is what it is supposed to. It's supposed to be used in bringing in item for the sole purpose of use by the hospital. And that is where the declarations and so on would come into play. And if it is not, then that is where the breach is, and the customs actually went through that with me to say, this is a breach. Why there's a breach? Because we have confirmed that the items were not, and under the tax exempt status, it is supposed to be the sole use of the hospital for the sole use of the hospital, and they were not.
Member Morrison, then Member Cousins.
Thank you, Chair. And Member Hamilton, that question is an excellent precursor to where I'm going now. We're talking about the university hospital misusing the tax exemption status. And in the case here, what are we looking at, Chairman? 4 companies? 4 companies on the radar here. And I just want, for persons in constituencies, maybe such as mine, who don't quite understand what is happening here. A simple breakdown: you have a company that can bring in, for my farming constituency, I would say, tools, machete, hoe, fork. They can bring that into the country. What is it? With tax exemption. But there are other entities who sell the same thing or who use the same equipment. So then, that entity allows who has the tax exemption, who can bring in the machete, hoe, fork, whatever it is, free, then no tax. They allow other companies who don't have that exemption, who are obligated to pay the government tax, they allow them to bring it in. But this is where it gets bad. And this is in the case of 3 entities now. based on the information that we are gathering. Not only do they bring them in, they turn around and buy back the machine, buy back the whole from the same entities who they allowed to benefit under the tax exemption, buy back, and in some instances for 3 times the amount. Chair, my question is, can the PAC call on persons to answer even if after they have left the substantive post? Can the PAC
this is what I was asking
persons
yesterday.
to appear even after? Right, and I think it may have been Member Warmington, I don't know who, was saying that something maybe should be worked, maybe in the standing order constitution, where persons don't even have the option to say whether or not they want to attend, but they are made to appear to answer the question, because in this case, with the new CEO, I think that I won't say out of his depth, but we would certainly have benefited from individuals who were at the helm and who can answer these questions. But Chair, in the interim, I want us to consider whether or not persons who have left entities, department, critical position with a trail of serious breaches, should we now consider whether or not these persons should be engaged in prominent critical government posts until at the very least the investigations have been completed? Thanks, Chair.
Well, to answer your first question, I would need to seek advice as to whether this committee can do so. We respond to reports from the Auditor General. The accountable officer in this case is always the permanent secretary. We have the acting CEO. We know the individuals who would have done it at the time are no longer with the entity, but there are investigations which are ongoing, which frankly, whether they are at the entity or not, sanctions can be imposed on those individuals. Some of these matters are Integrity Commission, but some of them are Customs plus JCF. So that would not preclude whether somebody still works within the public sector. But I share your grief at what we're dealing with, because the same tax that we needed to collect is the same money we're paying to buy back the thing from the same people that we give a break to. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. And what we don't know is how bad it is. We only know about 4. We don't know how far back it goes. We don't know how many companies have benefited from it. And the reason it existed, a hospital is a non-profit institution. And so it existed so the hospital could bring in things for the benefit of the hospital. But certainly not to bring it in for the benefit of a private supplier who marks it up 10 times and sell it back to the hospital. That is just flagrant abuse of it. Member Cousins.
Thank you, Chairman. My question is to the CEO or the PS. I don't know if I can answer. There's 2 questions. The first one is that, let's for argument's sake say I want to purchase, so you want to purchase some bins now or some plates and crockery. What is the process? That entails. Walk me through the various phases.
Okay, so the need would have been identified.
Angel,
and then we will have to look at
in
terms of priorities, because of the limited resources we have, to determine what actually will take place, which one will be purchased. So if we say yes, we're going to purchase the bins, then they will do the necessary requirement, send that to determine, for instance, what is the estimated cost of those items, and send it to procurement. Procurement now must, regardless of the amount we have implemented, must provide or make an attempt to obtain 3 quotes, regardless of the value. So we have now moved away just from single sourcing, unless it is like they can say to me that this is exclusive dealership. They are required to get at least 3 or request on GoJet to try and get persons to court.
Okay.
Those courts will come in, and we will then assess them and make the necessary awarding, whether it goes first through the procurement committee or it comes straight to me.
All right, so thank you very much. So let's go back to the unit now that deals with the in-house estimate. When that unit is doing their estimate, they would need to be made aware then that these items would come in duty-free, tax exempted. Because if they provide you or the procurement department with an estimate that does not take into account the fact that the hospital is going to bring these in through a third party, duty-free, then that means that the estimate that the procurement department would receive would be erroneous.
Well, they would not be aware. They wouldn't be aware that this is what will happen to the person who is awarded. So that is not, as I said, this is a clear breach.
What I'm getting at, the CEO, is that look at it from this point of view. Remember, the company is bringing in the item for CIF value of $1, duty free, selling it back for $6, right? If your in-house estimate to the procurement department is $5 or $6, not telling them that, by the way, they're not going to pay any duty. So take that into account when you're doing an estimate. It simply means that the taxpayers of Jamaica would have been cheated because someone deliberately held back that information from the procurement department or from the unit that is generating the estimate, because the estimate cannot be generated in a vacuum.
Well,
you agree with me on that?
No. I want to make sure that there is a clear understanding. One is that the unit requesting the bins would have gotten an estimate from whoever for $10 for the bin. They would not know that that $10 is based on us, the Universal Hospital, assisting the person with bringing in the items duty free or not. They only know that this is the price the person is quoting. The procurement department would then go ahead and process, because they too would know. Because based on, as I said, this thing is under investigation, but I'm telling you what it's supposed to be. They are not, because there is no such thing as the use of our tax exemption status. It should never be used by anyone in those manners. Never, ever. It's just not permitted, and it is not. It's a breach, a clear breach of guidelines.
Yes, CEO, I hear you. And I accept what you said. And I understand that this thing existed before you came into your substantive role, and that you have taken steps to address it. But the point I'm trying to make is that, obviously, Chairman, there's some collusion taking place between those who are doing the estimates, right? Or some misleading taking place, because you are not telling them who is doing the estimate, that this person is going to get a tax exemption. So somebody benefits somewhere down the line, outside of the company, and whomever doing the estimate, or the procurement department, or probably somebody in that department that is doing the estimate, but something not right, it don't smell good, it don't look good.
Remember, I understand the basis for your rationale. However, I would want to leave it to the proper investigative trained bodies to do their work and then make that determination.
Members, I'm going to recommend that we stop at key finding number 4, because we are 4 hours in. Some people are signaling me that we haven't provided lunch. We would like to at least watch the game at 4 o'clock, but we'll have to come back. Yeah, man, Jamaica qualifying for the World Cup, and we're going to beat DR Congo.
I guess how the sadness come from.
We're going to have to come back here, not next Monday, but not next Tuesday, not the Tuesday after the Easter break, but the following Tuesday in 2 weeks' time, because we can't complete this today. All right? So Member Coupler, I'll take your final question, and then we break for today, and we come back in 2 weeks, and we pick up from key finding number 5, and then we go through the rest of the items. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman, for that. I just want to know when things are bought, like cups and saucers or whatever it is that's bought, bins, dialysis machine, is there nothing that's in place, no accountability at UHWI to say these things, then we receive them? Is there no accountability measure if money is spent and taxpayers' money is really wasted, as far as I'm concerned? Where's the accountability process? And going forward, what is now going to be put in place to make sure that this doesn't happen? Also, this, the certificate, how did they get hold of UHWI's tax-exempt certificate? How?
Okay, so there are a couple of questions you're asking right there in one. If I said one. Okay, so let's leave the last one first. The reality is that the document that Customs shared with us allegedly bears the signature of the CEO of the hospital. The previous and the current. In one case, it's the previous, and in one case, as I said, there are two documents that have to be signed by the head of entity. In one case, it was the previous CEO, and in the other case, it was the current CEO. Now, in terms of, so it is that on that basis why Customs would have treated it as a duty-free item coming in. Yes. Now, in terms of the hospital obtaining or receiving the items and accounting for it, in the case where the item is purchased and all the processes related to the importation takes place outside of the knowledge of the finance department or the procurement department, those items would not have come through the channels, so that the hospital would not be aware of these items being imported, which is what the Customs finding identified in the one that they have done. In the other instances, the procurement department would have sent in, they would have received the estimate, would have received the thing to purchase the item from this particular person, but based on our determination, the procurement department was not aware of any duty-free benefit that those importers would have benefited from, or the person selling us would have benefited from. The company importing the item obviously would know that they are bringing it in under what circumstances they are bringing it in.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is longer than we normally go, but we're going to come back in 2 weeks' time to complete this. There are also some matters related to the Ministry of Health proper that we have to go through, but it's been I'm trying to find the right term. Eye-opener, maybe mild, but disappointing that in 2026 that the issues that have arisen here are arising. And as we recognize, this is just an audit. It doesn't speak to the entire operations of this entity, but it raises concerns about how many other rogue entities within the public sector could be operating this way. And there's no other way I can put it but rogue, because these things are unbelievable in terms of what has happened here. So can I have a motion for adjournment? By Morrison, seconded by Cuthbert Finn. Have a very good Easter, everybody, and we come back in 2 weeks' time.
This was an excellent sitting, and I'm looking forward to hearing them in 2 weeks' time. It was good. I look forward to hearing them in 2 weeks.
Chuck, I was kind of surprised by Julian. This is my first time listening to the whole thing. I've never really, I know Sheikah, this is her thing. She never missed it. And she always talk about it. But listening to it, I'm a little surprised of how he represented. I don't think that he was being political in the sense of PNPism or just trying to bring out a certain thing. I really believe that he had concern. He was sickened by what was being repeated. And I really believe that he really wants to know and that he's really probing. I get that. Maybe it's me, but that's kind of what I got.
No, I think he presided over a very good sitting. He was fair. I think he was definitely trying to get to to what happened, to the truth, to who is to be blamed, and not just to a political narrative from it. Right. You're right. I think he was basically sick by where I hear me too. Mm-hmm. Right. And I believe we should be at a point now in these things where we stop hearing them so often now.
But Chuck, earlier I heard some chef was up here. I think it was him that was concerned about nobody is speaking up. I think you misunderstood him enough. He wasn't talking about the media outlets, or he was talking about Jamaica. Because every little thing, I said this to you this morning, I've seen the PNP have press conference 9 o'clock the next day when certain news broke about what's happening in the country and the Jamaica Labour Party and Holness, that declaration, all this stuff. They have press conference for little of nothing. When they come out, I always say this, PNP lie and propaganda seem to get more traction than when they are on the scene, when they are the one committing the crime. And I don't see how Jamaicans are not outraged. I'm not even living there, and I'm outraged. I don't see how nobody else is not outraged as much as I am feeling right now. I just don't understand.
All right, the issue now, it all will go back to the media landscape we have. The media landscape we have is one that favors heavily the People's National Party. So news that negatively affect the People's National Party will never get the airplay it deserves. It will never be broadcast to the people. It will never be put on the front page. You will never see it in the lead story of the news. You will never see it that way. And that is what drives the discussion. Whether we like it or not, the news drives the discussion, right? If we can go back to the drill incident, every day there was something to do with the drill on the front page of the Gleaner and the front page of the Observer, the lead story in the news. And that's what kept it on. Now, TVJ reported about this incident when it just happened, then apologized and never looked that way again. Never looked that way again. Right? So the media is to be blamed, and that's why when we say that journalism in Jamaica is dead, the truth was a victim of that killing. The truth, and the truth died with it. Right? The truth died with it. Right? So unless we can get back some fair and balanced media in Jamaica where the news is just the news, it doesn't matter whose can it match or over foot it step on, they're gonna report it. We won't get a balanced view. Right? So that gap is now being filled by social media. Social media is now journalism in Jamaica. We here who turn on the live, who no have no formal training, we never got carry mark, we never go UHWI. But we are the ones who have to try to tell the Jamaican people the truth. We have to try to give the Jamaican people some direction. That's the burden where we carry right now. Because Lindo's Road well, Lindo's Road now and North Street anymore. North Street not involved. North Street dead. Lindo's Road will not bring this news. As long as Lindo's Road is being run by the best friend of Hope Road, then you won't hear anything bad about Hope Road coming out of Lindos Road. And that is the problem we face today. Thank God for our little station on Bradley Avenue. We are keep the fire blazing when it comes to journalism in Jamaica. We have a big up nationwide. And that is how I see it. Well, they're not selling no paper again, you know. They're not selling no paper. They never print. Ocean Boulevard. No, sir. Everything gone Lindos Road now. Them have one
Chuck,
new company.
you say thank God for Bradley Avenue, but then that Bradley Avenue again.
Oh yeah, they moved downtown now.
Ocean.
Ocean Boulevard. Yeah, because the nationwide move. Yes, I totally forgot. Right, but we have to give thanks because at them alone now who toe the line. At them alone now who and listen and people can say what they want. Nationwide is a story when the government is to be attacked, them attack the government. When the government is to be credited, they do it. And that is what news should be about. News should be about informing the people. Make them know what is happening. And that is where the ball drop when it comes to the so-called media where we have, the so-called civic group, even the churches. Even the churches are now involved in the partisan running of the place, right? But I, for one, I believe Dennis Garden needs to be removed from, well, they can't remove him as member of parliament as he's elected to that post, so they can't remove him. But he's not to be sitting on the PAAC. He's not to be sitting on any committee in the KSAC. He's not to have any position on any committee in the PNP. If Mark Golding is at all serious about transparency and integrity, which you know he's not. I know he's not. But if you want to prove that he have the slightest little concern, these things must be done immediately. And you should ask him, he's not gonna do it, but ask him to step aside from the PNP while he clears his name. It was the least that could have been done to George Wright, and George Wright step away from the Jamaica Labour Party. Based on your calling, Mark Golding, you called for George Wright to step away from the party, which he did. When it was Flight Green turn, when Flight Green name was calling that in Partygate, he stepped away from his post and the investigation cleared him. It is the same thing with Andrew Wheatley, stepped away. Marissa Dalrymple Filbert, step away. Why Dennis Garden and Alfred Dawes are not being forced to step away from their position while the investigation is going on? What's the difference? Because for them leader white? Well, if for them leader white, my leader Banya. If it's because for them leader white, my leader Banya. So him still have more talk than them. Him still have more talk than them. I will not go change that. And again, let's not overlook the name in another one of the company, Manley. I said before that is only one Manley family me know in Jamaica. I have met several Smith, several Anderson, every other name you can think of. I have met several family with that name who have no close relation. But I have only had the fortune of knowing one Manley family. So when somebody turned up as the principal of a company named Manley, I have to make the assumption that it is from that same family. Yes, that's the name, Sean Manley. I have to make the assumption that it is from that family, as I don't know another one. And we know say Michael never to play when them are sowing seed. Yeah, that's true, Angel. Michael never play when them are sowing seed. Then they will spot him gets fertile going in sow. So even from the grave, the Manley family is still involved in political corruption. I have never known in any country, and I said me follow politics around the world, you know. I have never known an opposition party to be involved in so much government scandal while in opposition. I have never known a party to misappropriate government funds while in opposition. That you hold 6 municipality council, and all 6 of the council on which you sit is involved in some form of scandal, some form of corruption. None more blatant than St. Catherine, where a PNP-led municipality was paying $2.2 million per month to dance in Spanish Town. And I've always said it was 1 million, but I just remember it was 2 dance collecting the money. Each of them was getting $1.1 million. I was listening to the tape again recently. 2 dance, and each of them was offered $1.1 million every month. For no fire, no shot. Apart from that, these dance were given contracts to transport water without owning a single truck. These dons in St. Catherine were given contracts by the St. Catherine municipality that is run by the PNP to transport water without owning a truck. Remember, you know, Mark Golding telling us that he no work with corruption, and anytime corruption raises its head, it has to go because that's who he is. Yet Manchester, $400 million cannot be accounted for. Westmoreland, a market that was to be constructed up until this day. 2 times the ministry sent money down here to build the market. The money disappear and no market. And the existing market has been rented out to a private person for $7,000 per year, who then rents space in it for $10,000 per person. I will say that again, cannot even me no believe when they say it. It sounded funny to me a while ago. But the PNP councillors in this area rent the market. The entire market was rent to an individual for $7,000 per year. That person then rent it out at $10,000 per space. And that $10,000 per space is payable every month.
And how many space approximately how many space?
I have no idea, but it's probably somewhere close to about 50, if not more. And that money is payable every month, while only costing over $7,000 a year to the government. Mark Golding said him don't like corruption, and then when see him a stump it out of party. Yet not one person from that municipality has been removed. Every single Kingston and St. Andrew have been spending the taxpayers, the municipality money to run election. The mayor himself a walk around and hand out brown envelope. Using the term say, if you do what? Grid up the thing, I don't want too much labor right in backyard. That there is the PNP for you. Even in opposition, they are embroiled in scandal after scandal after scandal. And I say this every day and I will always say it. Guys, as you come in, I have about 1 next 4 minutes because the little one needs some attention. So I have to go around, go attend to her a little bit, you know. The Jamaica Labour Party, where I support and I am a member of, is not perfect. But in comparison to the PNP, they are miles apart. From 2020, we are now in 2026. There is no Dalo, if you have a different version, me telling you some welcome to the challenge all the while, you know. Since 2020, coming all the way up to today, and let me check my memory, so I tell the truth first. There is no credible government scandal under any ministry. I challenge anybody if you can't tell me, say I lie, me I tell you. None. That is the kind of administration that Andrew Holness is running. One that we can be proud of. Even though them try to scandal with name in the US, Canada, England, Washington, D.C., New York, Miami. And when they are challenged on these matters, them themselves is found wanting. All right, so big up yourself. But we're there for the challenge anytime. Right, but my folks, it was good spending a little time. The little one need a little assistance, so I'm going to go and assist her with some homework, you know. You know, me being the genius, it's my time to take over the teaching now. So we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Angie, Petal, good evening, everybody.
Hi, Chuck. Excellent.
You are not void. My spirit dwells within you. There is no need to seek everyone's approval to find joy. Earnestly strive to please me with your devotion and fidelity, and I shall bestow upon you the crown of life. Receive my peace. Attune your ears to my voice daily. Hold closely these 2 words that will fortify and uplift you mightily. I love you.